I hope your house gets caught in both a cyclone and a sinkhole at the same time so that you end up suspended perfectly in air where you stand and then plummet down into the fucking bowels of hell. Oh, hey, Jed.
Have you been here all week?
Of course I've been here all week. Did you leave?
You've been yelling about me all week. I left before you even, did you ever put out the episode?
I think. I mean, I set it to go out.
Have you been in a haze, a rage-filled haze over me?
I've been seeing red. All I remember is the episode. We finished recording the episode.
Why did you even start that?
And I just saw red, and then I ended. And then it's over now. I'm back, I guess. Welcome back, everybody, to Vox and Jed Fight About It. The show where we do, in fact, fight about it, not as often as you would believe. So, we've been living up to it. We've been living up to it. Jed, let me do the fucking intro, please.
Go for it.
Let me do the shut up and let me do the goddamn intro. You do this every week, just about. With the intro specifically. I do it with the outro because I'm like, oh shit, we need to get all the stuff in. But, fuck, man. I fucking Christ. You're just interrupting me for no reason. Okay, but this week we've got something a little special. We've been living up more to our Fight About It name a little more recently. Like we've been having larger sort of haha back and forth arguments as the show has progressed, and I think we're settling in nicely. But this time is when we make good on all those days where we weren't settled in nicely and weren't able to get a good fight about it in. And we're frankly just more agreeable than we had any right to be with each other about various subjects. So, here's what I'm thinking: is this episode is the Fight About It episode, because we've both gone through and we've set up and we've written down topics of here are things that we can fight about. Now, I know you have written down actual arguments to get us started. I took the prompt of come up with something to argue about all episode next week to a little bit of a twist, and I just wrote down a bunch of questions that I think, when elaborated on, will lead to an argument.
Okay.
An argument will naturally spur from the progression of that. You've got some?
I've got some pretty hard and fast. I know we will argue on it because they are things that I know you. And I know how you feel about these things, so it's we're gonna have some sort of arguments as well as those. So I'm excited.
So here's what I'm thinking. As to how this is gonna. Here's how this is gonna play out. One of us will start, and once one of us is tapped out or we reach a natural conclusion to that argument, I'm allowing the tap out to happen. I'm allowing a succession to happen, and we'll keep score for the episode and everything. But I'll allow a tap out to happen. There will be victories and losses in this. If we reach a natural conclusion, we're both gonna gentleman's rule that we're not gonna continue to fight it if we think we're genuinely at we technically kind of actually agree on this, and we'll just call it a draw and not count it. That's what I'm thinking. How do you feel about that? Because we haven't discussed this.
I fear that both of us are incredibly stubborn people, and that we need a fourth option, which is this has gone on for too long. We need to just call it a day.
That's what the tap out's for. That's what the tap out's for.
Oh my god!
Argument ends when one of us taps
all day.
Out. Good. We got a 2-hour show to run, buddy.
There is a chance that the first argument is going to be the entire show. So
that would be so
people.
Fucking funny.
Vox and I are incredibly stubborn assholes.
I think they know that. We've been doing this for almost over 20 episodes now. This is 20.
Yeah. 5 more episodes and we'll be half a year.
God, so that's ridiculous. Exciting. Yeah, no, that's insane. Well, 6 more if you include this one, because we're only 5 minutes deep into this one. So, do you want to start or should I start? We'll flip a coin.
Let's flip a coin.
Yeah.
I've got a bottle cap that works.
You've got a bottle cap that works? All right, flip a coin real quick. Heads or tails? Actually, no, I get to decide because you're flipping. I'll take heads. Heads is the actual face of the bottle cap, yeah?
Yep.
That's what we're doing? Okay, awesome.
And it's tails. All right.
It's tails. All right, shoot it. Throw it at
Should
me.
I
No
just pick
funny
one, or should I do a
segues
1
this
through
time.
3?
No funny segues this time. You pick whichever one you think would make the best
All
starting
right.
argument.
All right. Buffets are good. I like buffets.
Okay. All right, we're starting
I know
big
your
here.
opinion on this one.
We're starting big
I think
here. Okay,
buffets
you
are
lay out all the
solid.
reasons you like buffets. You give your opening statement and let me know when you're done, and I'll refute.
9 times out of 10, they're very clean by the staff. They do get cleaned. You can't account the X factor of people, but they are mostly clean. They have decent food most of the time, like an endless supply of food, pretty much. And if you go to the right buffet, they're actually really good food. So those are my 3 points on this one. You got 3 points on your counter argument.
I don't, but I do want to like slide into that like gap in your armor you've left of you can't account for the X factor of people. I will secede. I will not secede, but I will concede. I can't talk today. Fair warning for the audience. I've been having a rough go of it all day verbally, so that's just gonna make this episode more interesting. But I will concede that a lot of the times, if you go to like a decent buffet, the food will be good and the food will be plentiful, and they're not going to kick you out 7 plates in or whatever. You know, like when they say unlimited food, they mean it. You know, but again, it's the X factor of people, and my issue is not with buffets or buffet staff or any of those sorts of things. But I do find actually that the staff can be a little unattentive at a lot of buffets.
I mean, yeah, but they aren't meant to be attentive. They're meant to be cleaning.
They're meant to be attentive. They're meant to be attending to the cleanliness of all of it. That's what I mean. Is just that sometimes they can be a little like, oh, well, you know, we're out of this, or like this is contaminated, or some such, and just like, I haven't gotten to that yet. I'll get there. You know, and that might be a lot of cases that like. Buffet's a big place, and usually they're like dimly lit restaurant buffets, and so like, you know, it with like, you know, a lot of packed people in around dinner time, so it can be hard to keep up and hard to keep a good line of sight. I'm not blaming like minimum wage restaurant employees for why I don't like buffets. I'm blaming the people that go to buffets. You know the kind of people that go to buffets. You've been to buffets. Yeah. You like buffets. You've seen the type of folks who go to a buffet. Absolutely. These are the kind of people who take pride in making their own plate, and thus I find a lot of the people who go to buffets, not for that reason, but I find that a lot of people that go to buffets are very selfish and very like unattentive of like a communal food area of just like, you know, just like reaching around sneeze guards, scratching their beard over the mashed potatoes, fucking like all sorts of shit, dude. Using the like mac and cheese spoon for the gravy. Various faux pas that have happened in my home. I would gladly ask somebody to leave my table and never come back.
But like, why should their experience inhibit your experience? We're all in our own world, and just ignore it. If you get sick, you get sick. And dude, I'll even say this. I'll go this far. If a fucking kid with like coronavirus sneezes in there, it's better for you to eat the little bit of mashed potatoes, because that, you know what that's called? That's called a vaccine.
That is not a vaccine. You're being entirely facetious right now. I can't fucking believe you.
No, but you are like, if you were to get sick, it would help your immune system. I think that people could stand to be a little bit dirtier. I think that like. For those reasons of your immune system just gets boosted the more you're interacting with illness and things like that. I think you should go to buffets more.
I don't know. I think you should get sick fairly often. Not anymore, but I used to get very sick as a teenager. My immune system just wasn't all cracked up. Wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. But I don't think being in a more like toxin and fucking bacteria rich environment is necessarily a good thing for you. Your argument here is, hey, why I just handed you a plate with like a side of fucking fries that somebody fucking rubbed a booger off onto before they handed it to you. But don't let their experience hinder your experience with eating said fries with a booger currently on them.
All I'm saying is that kids who eat dirt are 10 times likely to live to 100. We aren't fact-checking. We are not fact-checking.
Yeah, we're not fact checking. Neither of us are fact checking. We cannot be fucked to fact check this. I don't think so, Jed. I don't think so. I think that buffets really only have one flaw, and I think that like in concept, if you had like a friend's buffet where like, you know, we've rented out this restaurant, the only people who are eating here are like 20 to 50 of the closest people in your life who you very well understand the cleanliness standards of and share a lot of your own hygienic standards when it comes to the handling of food and food preparation and food consumption. When it comes to like a communal area like that and you all have a mutual respect, then yes, I would say I like buffets. But I think that the one fatal flaw of the public is full of brain dead, lame, sick, sticky-handed fools who have no respect for you. Who have no respect for you.
I think everybody who isn't me or my close friends are stupid, idiotic buffoons who are not cleanly.
I would just argue that 30% of the population fits like all of those descriptors, or at least most of them.
You're saying that 30% fit
30% of all people, our listeners not included, are fucking stupid, uncleanly, lame, fucking sick, sticky-handed fools with zero respect for the world around them.
That's absurd. Do you understand how 30% includes like doctors and brain surgeons?
Yeah.
Dude. Why? This sounds so stuck. This is the position you're taking.
I'm not saying they're like brain surgeons. I'm not saying they're like brain surgeons. I'm just saying 30% of the world at large. I'm not saying 30% of the world at large and thus 30% of brain surgeons. There are factors that affect statistics, Jed. I'm just saying that of the like restaurant going like Tuesday night public, I think that like, you know, a good 30%, you know, can be filed in as just like a grandma who hasn't washed her hands in a couple days, you know? Like even something as simple as that. Something as simple as that is enough of a fatal flaw that like you simply don't know who's been through there. And I'm usually an optimist, right? But when it comes to things I put in my body, I have like great standards of scrutiny of just like I won't eat I used to before I saw how they do the dishes.
3 cans of soda a day.
And I know exactly where those cans of soda have been, and I know that they have been underrated. They've been on the back of a truck, and they've been in a fucking like a soda packing plant, and then they've been on a shelf in the store, packaged away where someone hasn't had their hand like coming along, and it's not like I'm drinking after someone. That's my issue here. I don't know who's been at that buffet before me. The guy in line in front of me might be being respectful and nice about the situation, but I can see a little ways down the line that one of the soup ladles is over in the mashed potatoes, and it's like, that sucks, you know, and somebody's cleaning it up right now, but how many of those things have I missed that they've just sort of been either lazy about or haven't noticed yet? And wouldn't be noticeable to the naked eye. What sort of contaminants lie in that pool of green beans over there? I don't know, and there's no way of knowing, and it brings a paranoia within me where I personally, I'm not making the argument that we should abolish buffets here. I'm just saying that I personally do not like to eat under those circumstances. I like the quality assurance that, you know, this food comes from the back. It comes straight from the back. Like, it comes, like, off the grill or the oven or what have you, onto your plate, and is handed to a server, and that server walks it in.
So and here's the thing. You don't know chefs. You don't know servers. That 30% but I know most restaurants is probably a majority chefs and servers.
I wouldn't argue that. Line cooks mayhaps, but I wouldn't argue that. Like, there's a chance that the guy at the Olive Garden fucking spit in my chicken Alfredo before it, like, made it out to me. But, alternatively, or, like, put his fucking cigarette out in my eggs at the IHOP. But, like, I don't... Like, the problem is, those people are paid to not do that kind of thing, which I feel lessens the likelihood. I'm trusting a paid person who was vetted at the very least by one other person for that job, rather than trusting any number of sticky-handed lame idiots who might be in front of me at a buffet line.
So here's the difference, though. Here's the difference is that going to a buffet is a special occasion, and being a server is much more of a daily occurrence where it's like, yeah, I'm going throughout my day. I just fucking use this spoon to fucking slop some mashed potatoes on there. I'm gonna use it for the green beans, because who gives a shit? I've been doing this for fucking like a year now. I don't want to get another spoon so that then I have to wash it again. I'm just gonna use the same spoon. That you're way more likely to experience that.
I don't care, because the likelihood is insanely lower, because these people are being paid to not do that. And if you go to a half-decent restaurant, especially a chain, they have these safety rails in place. And if you can make the argument that like line cooks and servers and busboys and whatnot sometimes just slip on their job because they are line cooks and servers and busboys, and it's not a very dramatic, and it's not a very luxurious job to work, and there's not enough pay to go around. And, you know, sometimes you mix a couple spoons, or sometimes you see a fly land on something after you just sat it down for like 0.1 second because it's the middle of August and it's just fly season, and no matter what protections you put in place, you can't really get rid of them. So just fucking try and keep them out of the kitchen. Just wave it off there. Don't say anything. Give it out. You know, I'll like concede that probably happens. That's probably happening right now while we're having this like conversation somewhere in America. However, I would argue that is probably happening. That's probably happened maybe 100 times today in like the entirety of America across restaurants, whereas what I'm describing happens all the time, and I've I've personally witnessed at multiple different buffets throughout my high school experience back when I wasn't so averse to them. That like these sorts of things happen. I've watched it happen with my own two eyes. At least at a restaurant, they have the decency for out of sight, out of mind, you know?
We can argue severity then, because by God, buffets are scrutinized by the public. You walk through where the serving happens and like you can see the kitchen back there. Like it is scrutinized. Have you seen some of those like McDonald's that have been outed for having like maggots crawling all over the place? They're real and they're everywhere.
That's fast food.
More than likely,
food.
And that's regular food too. Like that is
functional restaurant is hanging out with maggots. Not every restaurant.
Blissfully ignorant, my friend.
Not every restaurant is on fucking kitchen nightmares, Jed. Not every one of them. They're digging fucking dead rats out of the freezer and shit, dude.
I'm certain that at least one of the restaurants you've eaten at is like that.
One restaurant out of all the restaurants I have literally ever been to. You know what I've heard? I've heard way worse things about all the buffets that I've ever been to secondhand, because it's a small town and word gets around. I'd rather eat
sneeze mac and cheese over like maggot pasta. Dude, I think the severity are different.
You're making up a maggot pasta.
Mac and cheese.
Dude, maggot
That's a
pasta
real thing.
requires no. Maggot pasta, I'm sure it's happened in the past, but maggot pasta does not happen regularly. This is not an everyday occurrence, and more importantly, maggot pasta indicates that there is something severely wrong with the establishment that you are eating at currently. It is indicative of like just abject disrespect and disregard for the restaurant that you work in. It is an active thing. You have to allow that kind of thing to fester. A sneeze in mac and cheese could happen to anybody. All right? Sometimes the sneeze guard is a little out of the way. And because that's what it is. It's not just the lame, sticky-handed idiots. It's also like people like me or you who have a respect for that kind of thing. But like sometimes sneeze guards are a little weird, or sometimes, you know, if you're like me, I've got a lot of hair and I shed sometimes, and I tie it back before I go anywhere where like I would be like near food, of course. But like it could happen to good people too. Like it could happen to good, well-meaning, respectful buffet goers too. A sneeze just happens. It sneaks up on you sometimes. And of course, we're all trained from childhood to, you know, into the elbow. But that can't catch it all, you know? Germs are going to happen, and that's okay. But I feel that buffets are inviting that kind of, like, environment for like, I'm going to go to the buffet and get fucking COVID, dude.
I'm going to go to the buffet and strengthen my immune system.
Strengthen your immune system. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the same man who insists that throwing a cinder block at him would not only not be that bad for him, but might honestly do him some good.
Yeah, sure, fuck it. The cinder block
I don't want to like
crumble. Cinder blocks crumble, dude.
Like, I'm not trying to dodge the question here. I'm just saying that this seems to fall in that same line of philosophy. I'm not just gonna get COVID. I might get fucking, like, lupus, dude. There might be, like...
You can't get lupus, you dumbass!
Dude, you never know. You never know what's fucking festering in those fucking, like, vats of bacteria.
My boy, that is a genetic disease.
That 50 men before you have sneezed their genetic material onto.
Do you think the motherfuckers who, like,
men after
the
you
were like, Golden Corral. Straight off the Mayflower, 7 billion diseases, we're going to Golden Corral.
No, but the half-asleep, road-tripping families of America do, in fact, do that. And they might stop at your local Golden Corral. And after 17 hours of driving, who could give a fuck about the sneeze, the mac and sneeze? Who could give a fuck about the fact that the biscuits are a little hard and cold because they've been out on a platter for more than 10 minutes and that's just what happens to them if you don't eat them fresh? Who could give a fuck about I've just lost a fingernail, like a fake fingernail, like not like a real like fingernail clipping, but I've just like one of my fake nails broke off when I went to grab a chicken wing. You know, who could give a fuck about that? Just pick it out and don't say anything because you've been on the road for 20 hours. And it's just like,
why do you care?
But you shouldn't have to subject a stranger to that and you shouldn't be inviting that kind of thing to happen to you. And I'm not saying that this isn't like a life judgment from me. I'm not passing any judgment on you for being a buffet consumer or anyone in the audience for being a buffet consumer. My simple stance on this is that I don't like to eat at buffets. Not even that I won't, but I don't like to eat at buffets primarily because of the nastiness factor of just the open door, the Narnia of possibilities that could be within the germs of those vats of food.
Is that you'll gladly slurp up whatever those closed doors have behind them. Those closed door Olive Gardens. They're contained, which means they're containing their flies and their cockroaches and things that just like it is like Asmongold in there sometimes, dude.
Have you never heard of a health inspector? I don't know where you're coming from, dude.
You know what happens with those health inspectors? They show up and then they go, great, all right, this is cool, and then they move on.
I think you were just a pessimist about restaurants. I think you were just a pessimist about restaurants. I get that safety standards can slip with time and regularity. However, I don't think as many restaurants as you think aren't holding up their quality and safety standards, at least to a degree that's more respectable than literally anybody can walk into our kitchen and serve themselves. And like, fuck a hairnet, fuck a sneeze guard, who cares? Just go for it. Free for all. Go goddamn hog wild.
I trust my eyes more than I do the people behind the fucking counter, dude, or the people behind that door. Because, like, the difference is that, oh shit, there's a fucking fingernail on that mac and cheese. Fuck that. Moving on. Wait until there's a new batch of mac and cheese.
So better the devil you know than the devil you don't, huh?
100%.
That's where you're going? That's where you're going with this? Of, like, I would much rather have to see, like, a ham languishing on the fucking countertop for, like, an hour or two until it's picked away enough until, like, they can come and drag it away and bring another one out. Like, they can justify putting a new ham out. Or, like, fucking, like, an entire, like, pie with fucking, like, fingerprints very clearly on it. You would gladly have that.
Avoid the pie.
You would gladly have to eat under, like, unsanitary conditions. It doesn't matter if you don't eat the pie. What about the thing next to it? Or the thing next to that? Those kinds of things don't just stay where they're at. When you sneeze into a fucking vat of mac and cheese, they don't go, yeah, I don't want to go to the mashed potatoes next door. I think that germs are famously not known for just sticking around where they land.
Do you think that germs are able to jump out of the crock pot that they're in and into the mashed potatoes that are like 4 inches of cold, sanitized steel away?
Yes, it can happen. You are bewildering me. I bet you drop food on the ground and go 5-second rule. It's been like 6 seconds. It's probably okay. I'll eat it. and then you pick it up and you spot like a hair on it, and then you eat it anyway.
I take off the hair.
You take off the hair. If you're eating like a potato chip and you drop it, and then you pick it up and it's got a hair on it, you will still eat it.
I will pick off the hair and I will eat it. Yes.
Because I've eaten off like the floor before, not publicly, but I've eaten off the floor under the conditions of just like I know the last time this floor's been. It's fine. I know exactly what's happened to this floor for like the almost entire time that it's existed. That's okay.
There's no way that many germs show up all at once, like instantly onto your potato chip.
It doesn't take
like,
that
if it's
many.
Wet,
it doesn't take that many, Jed.
So here's the difference.
One bad germ and you're fucking down for a week with like the fucking flu. Here's the difference.
Wet thing versus dry thing. If I drop a potato chip on the ground, I will pick it up, blow it off, and eat it. Because it's likely not really in there yet. If I drop like buttered toast face down, that shit's gone. That shit's going to the garbage.
Not really in there yet. You're talking about it like it has to saturate, like it has to fucking ruminate.
It does. Do
like
you
these
think
things
they
don't
just like
populate.
Instant transmission? Do you think they instant transmission onto the fucking potato chip?
No, but again, it doesn't take many, you fucking idiot. It doesn't take many germs at all to get you sick, and it doesn't take many germs at all to, like, cause you discomfort, even. It's not like you're gonna get the flu every time you eat a chip off the ground, but if you go to the buffet and you're shitting your brains out the next day because some asshole had, like, rampant, like, stomach bug and you're eating after him, you know, you invited that upon yourself. If you eat at a buffet and you get sick the next day, you have to at least acknowledge that when you're sitting there on the toilet, shitting your brains out for the third time that day, you have to go, yeah, fair enough. I did eat at a buffet last night, and it might not have been that sanitary.
Let's bring in an anecdote, then. The most recent time that I've gotten the stomach flu, I went to the hospital, and somebody came in with the stomach flu, and I caught it. And so,
that happens.
Are you gonna...
You're in a hospital.
Are you going to falter every establishment you walk into based on the possibility that you could have fucking stomach flu? No. So why are you buffet racist, Vox?
I'm against buffets because not every establishment is one where I'm putting things in my mouth that have been in close proximity with the unwashed hands of other people.
That's all every food restaurant you go to.
Yes, but these people are cooking. These people are cooking. Jed, I don't know if you know this. Chicken is very quick to cross-contaminate. You have to be very fucking careful about cooking chicken. Yeah. You have to be very careful about cooking meat in general. And I like my meat. I'm a big meat guy, you know? And the thing about it is, there is a safety standard, all right? There's a safety standard put in place at those places. Again, we're looping back around to the fact that there is a safety policy and standard of cleanliness and hygienics that employees must follow. Every bathroom in America, at every restaurant in America, I'd argue, you can walk in, go to the bathroom, and if it's like the only bathroom in the building, there will be a plaque that says employees must wash hands on it. And you'll sit around and wait for a while, and nobody will show up to wash your hands. No employee will show up to wash them. So you just do it yourself. And then you step out of the bathroom and realize, oh, that sign meant that employees have to wash their hands. And then you think about it, right? And then you think about the fact that employees have to wash their hands. And it's like, sure, maybe the fucking, like, one of the fucking waitresses saw that sign and just went, I'm in kind of a hurry today. I've got to get back on. I'm not wasting like a minute of my break time washing my fucking hands.
Sure, you just assume that the sign that says employees must wash your hands meant that an employee was going to walk into the bathroom and wash your hands?
Well, Jed, I don't know if you're aware of this. We're on a comedy podcast right now where jokes happen.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if you know this.
I'm committing to it. I was committing to it, but
not everything we say today has to be 100% sincerity. Like, I'm fucking around a little bit because it's
like that.
Because it's completely beside the point. Because that bit is the bit that I just did is completely beside the point. I want to set that precedent of like that wasn't really a factor of my argument so much as it was just like a side tangential bit. Anyway,
fair enough.
Maybe the waitress sees that and goes, "I'm on my break right now. I took my break to come, like, take a piss and scroll Twitter on my phone for a minute. I'm not wasting my break time on this. I'm, like, a particularly uncleanly person, and just want to get back to like having like the last minute of my 15-minute break so I can clock back in. You know? Like, whatever. That happens. I'm not thrilled about it. In fact, I would be fucking outraged if I found out the person serving me was doing that. However, that's at least there is a sign that's like, wash your fucking hands before you go handling the food. There's no sign for that.
Yes, there is.
There's a sign suggesting that, but they can't enforce it. There's no way to enforce that. They can't
enforce the fucking hand washing policy with the employees either.
No, but they should. They should be able to fucking enforce it, is the thing. And there is a degree of expectation and a duty of care involved when you are an employee of an establishment that, hey, I am an empathetic human being. I wouldn't want to eat after somebody who hadn't washed their hands. I should wash my hands. And while empathy gets a lot of us a long way, I would argue a good 20% of the public, maybe more, have not a nary a care in the world for you or what happens to you if you eat after them, even though they have like COVID and are fucking like sneezing directly into their palm all day and are reaching over to grab a fucking like a leg of ham on the way.
So then why would the line cook that doesn't give a fuck about you and scratches his balls and then proceeds to cut your onions, like, come on.
Just because that does happen, just because that happens on the rare occasion doesn't discredit my argument that the fucking public are like, I would much rather have one guy who might maybe scratch his balls. Maybe, okay, we'll say two people. The person who cooks and the person who brings it to the table. We'll say anywhere between 2 to 3 people who might maybe have had their hand on their balls or didn't wash their hands like right before handing you your food. Those people exist, all right? That happens. That's a measured risk you take when you allow other people to handle your food before it gets to you. I'm allowed to take that risk. I'm perfectly fine taking that risk. However, for me personally, I don't trust quite literally the possibility of quite literally everybody in the county having been ahead of me in line. All right?
But like,
I don't trust that.
It gets traded out every like 5 minutes. I think that's what you're forgetting is that sneeze and cheese that you're eating.
Restaurant employees that have to cook every single meal fresh and pass it to you. And those people are neglectful. But guys who work at a buffet, no, never. They've never fallen down on the job, not even once. That 5-minute timer is not a steadfast rule. The problem is that there are better buffets. I'm sure there are great buffets. However, buffets in general are like that. You can't make the case that like, oh, but every restaurant you've ever been to, you stinky, stupid fucking bitch who has no hygienics. Every restaurant you've ever been to, the guy's scratching his balls and throwing maggots in your food and sneezing in it, and the waitress is licking the plate before she puts the food on there and hands it to you, and you're saying all of this, but a fucking buffet employee, no, that's never happened. And when I say like, that's not happened,
stupid.
You know, but shut the fuck up. That's exactly what you said. You didn't say I was stupid, but you implied all that other shit. You implied all that other shit is happening at every single restaurant. You implied that other shit is happening at every... Yes. Shut the fuck up! You were implying that happened at every single goddamn restaurant in America at some point. At least like a few times a day. And in exchange, you can't even admit... Like, I couldn't just throw, well, go to better restaurants. Because I did. And you know what you said? Oh, even at like the 5-star ones, like even at like a decent restaurant, that happens every now and again. Because you can't expect everybody to give the utmost of a shit about their job. And suddenly the opposite is true when it comes to buffets. They're the most sanitary places on earth. You might as well be, you might as well be eating off the fucking like the cleanest table you've ever seen directly. You might as well be eating it straight out of the hands of your own mother. You know, what the fuck are you talking about?
Golden Corral or hotel breakfast are not clean. But if you go to like a nicer one, it's gonna be clean. Because you can see, like, again, you know, the devil that you see versus the devil that you can't. I'd rather fucking look my sneeze and cheese in the eyes and say, yummy germs.
And that doesn't kill your appetite? That doesn't completely ruin it for you? I don't see how you can... okay, maybe you are nasty, because I couldn't possibly see that, because the problem is, the open door, the devil that you know, noticing that there's like snot, like sneezed loogies in the fucking mac and cheese, opens up the door to, if they're letting something this flagrant that I saw it instantly when I walked in the room, if they're letting that pass, what the fuck else is going on here? What the fuck else could possibly be lying in the bite of food I'm taking that I saw nothing wrong with?
All right, yeah, that one actually makes sense.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't see, because it's like, I'm sure it doesn't stop there. The buck can't possibly stop at, like, yeah, it's just this one incident. This never happens here, Because if it never happens here, why the fuck did that happen here?
How are any restaurants in business then?
How are any restaurants in business? Because people are willing to make that measured risk, and a lot of people's opportunity for measured risk is a lot lower than mine. Like, I'll go to a regular restaurant, unless they're, like, advertising it openly that, like, yeah, we're, like, a scumfuck shitty restaurant. We have maggots in our kitchen and like, rats nibble at your food before they hand it to you. Diseased little, like, fucking creatures of the night come in and have their way with our kitchen, and we don't clean it in the morning. Like, unless they're advertising that kind of shit or being very open about it, it's really not an issue. Like, it's fine. Like, it's within measured safety standards for me. That's okay. Like, I think that's just the life we all live with, is just that, like, yeah, there might be something going on in the kitchen. Probably not, though. Because, like, I wouldn't want to lose my job. Because, like, who the fuck am I? I'm some nobody, and if they're, like intentionally shitting on my food, like, why would, why? Simply why would someone who's being paid to do a very simple, minute job, other than, like, the things that happen via negligence, like, I used the wrong spoon once, or this order has been sitting out for a minute before I took it to the table. Other than those, like, minor acts of negligence, what else is wrong? Like, but with a buffet, the issue is, and a lot of people are willing to make this risk proposition for the sake of, like, free unlimited food. That's the trade-off you get, is the possibility that somebody sneezed into part of the plate that you're about to eat.
I'm beginning to feel like I'm wrong. Based on the simple fact that I'm thinking back to all the times that I've been to a buffet, and I think I could count the buffets I've been to on one hand, and most of my experience in a buffet comes from one particularly good buffet. And
one of, like, the goddamn gourmand of buffets, and
I
judging all buffets.
I actually did go to it might have been the gourmand in Las Vegas. I can't remember. I forget what the name of that hotel is. It's a bougie
fucking Vegas.
Yeah, it was actually really nice. They had like
I'm sure it was.
Shit.
It was fucking Vegas.
It cost like $150 per person to get in there.
You're going to a buffet where it goes on. You're basing your opinion on buffets on, like, the greatest buffet to ever exist.
Not that one. I'm not basing it off of that. I'm basing it off of another local one called Sweet Tomatoes that is pretty good. I grew up with it, so it's like, yeah, it's fine. But they serve a lot more like breads and like cheese breads and things like that, where it's a little bit harder to get like sneeze and cheese going on. I then was like, okay, let me think of other examples, and my brain immediately went to another buffet that I've been to, and I shit you not, I walk up to one of the buffet counters and it says on a sign, "We are not responsible if you get a foodborne illness."
Yeah, because they can't be, because you're trusting that I'm wrong with like your health and safety standards instead of employees.
I'm beginning to believe that I'm wrong and simply have not been to many
I shouldn't
buffets.
have yelled for this bit, dude. My throat is killing me. And only 40 minutes into the show. But so you concede then. You concede that, like, it's okay. Because, like, I don't even know what we're arguing here.
Sweet tomatoes.
Other than, like, buffets good, bad.
I also think that, like,
I've been working,
germs is good.
A little bit of germs is good for you, put a little hair on your chest, whatever. But, like, come on. There's like a certain point where it's like, a little bit of stabbing's all right for you. I don't need to go to like Stabber Alley and get stabbed 50 times and invite that shit into my life.
Getting stabbed does nothing but harm, but getting infected by something, a very small amount of something,
gives you scar tissue, and scar tissue's stronger than flesh, you could argue.
Are you gonna argue that somebody else is going to stab you in the exact same position, and that little bit of scar tissue is going to change your next outcome of being stabbed?
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying is like, that's like the extreme of the argument you're making here of just like, yeah, sure, a little bit of germs is fine. It's not going to kill you. And in fact, it might do your immune system a little good to get a little skirmish in every now and again. But like, I just like, I don't feel like it's needed. I think you get enough stray germs off people just living in the world day to day. You don't really need to like go out of your way to invite that kind of thing into your body, you know?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just like young and immortal feeling where it's like, I don't really give a shit. I don't really care about the germs around me.
I don't think it's like I have a better grip on my mortality than you due to age as much as it's just like, dude, I'm fucking like, I don't like to be sick. When I'm sick, I can't do shit. Here's the difference
between us. I don't think that this is a coincidence. Every time I've been sick, it goes away in 2.5 days. Like, I've never had an illness that fucks me over that
Sickness is anywhere from a day to a week.
I've never had a sickness that lasted longer than 2 days.
You might just be in bed
that was like
for a week. You might just be in bed for a week for a normal person. Like, even like a real bad cold is just like, yeah, you might not be bedridden for a week, but you're gonna feel like shit every day of your goddamn life until it's gone.
And that's what I mean, is that it never hits me that hard. No illness has hit me nearly as hard as it hits other people, I've found.
I don't know. I just get like the man flu, I think is what they call it, where like my body is just well, because like that's like a ha-ha thing about like men react to being ill a lot worse than women on average, or something along those lines, where it's just like I think it is partially psychological that like once I'm sick, and I think it's also a problem with me of just like, once I'm sick, and my brain acknowledges that, like, I should lay down, but I keep just trying to power through all goddamn day, and so it, like, and that's probably extending the times that I'm sick by, like, a couple days. Just all that, like, I need to fucking get shit done, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that, genuinely, if you were a little less paranoid, I would call it, about germs, it might do your immune system a little bit good.
I'm not like germophobic. I just like, you know, I don't
a like little bit of doorknob licking is good for you. Come on.
It's probably not. I don't see that as a good thing. I don't know, man. But anyway, I'm taking that point.
I'll tap.
If you're good on this one, I need to write down a fucking scoreboard for this. Hold on. Where
can you there's no real good way to like put a tally on the board.
There's no good way to visualize it. No, I could put like a text element in, but like,
yeah, even then it wouldn't be like great.
That'd be very lazy. For those keeping score, it's Vox 1, Jed 0 currently. Jed nil.
Okay.
Not 0 because, you know, but Jed nil. Nothing. Anyway.
All right, come on with your weird existential question life arguments.
Okay, here's my question line here. How big of a fall do you think you could live from?
How big,
these are questions.
Honestly,
note that these questions that I have here before you answer are like, because to the audience they might sound like, well, these are just like conversation starters. What the fuck? But they're conversation starters that are like geared specifically at Jed. Of like, I know when I ask Jed what kind of a fall he's gonna like be able to live from, that like he's gonna have a ridiculous answer. So how big of a fall do you think you could take?
Like a story.
A story. How tall is a story? What as a unit of measurement?
Like 15
like
feet
a standard
maximum.
15 feet? You think you could fall 15 feet and die? I think 15 feet is a little low.
I think 15 feet is a little bit. I think I would be severely injured. I think that 3 stories and I'm for sure dead.
15. Okay, so let's talk about this fall here for a minute. You land on your feet. You either land on your feet or you land on your ass. Either one of those. Like
land on your feet or land on your ass. I'm breaking my femur, and I mean, I'm breaking both femurs more than likely.
You might break a hip if you land on your ass instead of your fucking femur. It hurt less, but you probably wouldn't walk straight ever again.
Yeah, like
from 15 feet up, I think if you land on like not concrete,
15 feet, I've done a jump from
like
15
onto
feet.
grass, 15 feet onto grass, not like thick lush grass, but just like normal like lawn grass.
Okay, so that
It's like a
changes.
minimal,
That changes
like
a little bit.
it's like soft soil, you know, and a minimal amount of padding on it before you like hit the ground hard.
Yeah, really only like 3 stories. I think like my terminal limit is like 4 stories. 3 stories, I'm like for sure dead. 4 stories, it's like holy shit, that motherfucker's dead. Because like I don't think you understand that like the bigger you are, the harder you fall, and like that's why I'm afraid of heights and shit. Is because like I'm afraid of heights because if I walk next to a banister, I have particularly bad balance. If I walk next to a banister and I lose my balance and I like lean on the banister, there's a chance that breaks and I fall and I just crack my shit open.
I guess.
But even like from like straight onto the legs, I don't think I could survive it. Like I think that I would have like a lot of injuries that would make it much harder for me to survive it than the average person. I take the like bonus fall damage stat debuff.
Yeah, no, I didn't consider how like scale whatever, because like I've heard of guys your size falling over, just like falling over, like standing up out of the chair and falling over onto carpeted ground and breaking something.
Yeah,
like,
no, because like it's just
it
like
happens.
You are a large fella. Like
you are a mass, and it like does not
like
work in your favor with gravity.
My bones are stronger for it. Like I have bigger bones than the average person, so they can hold up to more mass. But like even then, like your ligaments and shit are more likely to give out. That's why I have such like poor
ligament
issues
balls
with that. Oh my god. Did you expect me to say some shit like 10 stories or something?
Well, I thought you would either go way too high or way too low, but you gave me a perfectly reasonable number. You gave me a perfectly reasonable number, and I just have no like I have no conceit here.
I do think that like 2 stories could kill me, and that's pretty low.
2 stories could that is pretty low. I don't think 2 stories would kill. I don't even think 3 stories would kill you necessarily. I think you would be like horridly injured and probably in critical condition. But assuming they could like get you to a hospital in time, I think you'd be fine.
Yeah,
not fine, but I think you would be living.
And I guess that's the question: is like how like can you survive a fall? Because like you know there are people who fucking
like dead within 5 minutes of impact.
Dead within 5 minutes of impact. Unattended
that's
or
my
attended?
Personal figure. Attended or unattended? Well, attended. We'll give you attended. So I assume it'll take 5 minutes before anybody who even knows anything about anything to get to you. But
yeah, fair enough. So I'm gonna stick with my original answer of like 3 stories, more than likely death. 4 stories, like definite death.
All right. Well, that one was a dud. That's okay. I'll let you have this one. Because you're probably right. I got no stake in it. Is the thing.
I mean, I'd agree to a draw as well because there was no real like.
Well, no. Because part of the choice here was just like, fucking. I mean,
I guess
like,
I got you
like,
to concede by like you know.
Yeah, part of the skill portion of this is like it was my question. So I don't feel like a draw is necessary. Like if these were just arbitrary questions thrown at us from the void that neither of us are responsible for, I'd call that a draw. But since like your goal is not only to win, but also like pick the right question to lead you to victory, I guess, is like a part of it in a weird way. Anyway, that's you up 1. So you're also up for what's your next one?
I think you should do the next one because you have more questions than me, and that one was a little bit brief.
That one was like 10 minutes, but then again, 10 minutes isn't bad when faced with the fact that the last one was fucking 40 minutes. Though it seems like a hard one. But
just take an extra one.
Yeah, I'll take an extra one.
Take one you feel strong about. You feel like it'll definitely be it.
All right. This is another one. This is another one that's about your skill level. How far into the Pokedex do you think you could get? We'll go Pokemon by Pokemon. You have to beat that thing to death. How far into the Pokedex by number could you get? You have to fight. Here are the stipulations. You have to fight one. You have to fight. I know what. How many Pokemon can you name? Is that what you thought I was going for?
You're like Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise.
You've already fucked it up.
It does start with Ivysaur, doesn't it? Or
is it Bulbasaur? Yeah, but fuck, we'll go Mon by Mon. We'll go Mon by Mon.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll get like a good 30 minutes. No, I got the list. Right here.
Okay, come on.
That's what I was pulling up before the show that I told you I needed time for. But how far you get to? Here are the rules of combat. You are held prisoner in like a gladiatory arena in like the Pokemon universe. Very barbaric. You're forced to like fucking fight a Pokemon every day, and they for some reason choose to go in number order for them. You have to fight one of them a day. You have to fight one of them a day. You know, either to the death or boxing rules, where like, you know, you get 3 rounds. You gotta survive 3 separate stints of how long are boxing matches? Like 3 minutes per round, or like 8 or 9.
Oh, so it can just be survival. Okay.
Yeah, it can be survival. That's the part about this that makes this longer than 3.
Is that we start with starters, and starters are notoriously powerful. Like their final evolution is notoriously powerful. So can we get a skip stipulation?
You get 3 skips. You get 3 skips. Just for the aid of making this conversation last just a touch longer. You get 3 skips.
Because like I think I'm walking up on Charizard and I'm dead as fuck. Okay.
Like you get 3 vetoes. Your captors have allowed you 3 vetoes in terms of these fights, but once your 3 are up, you gotta just fucking roll it. All right.
What weapons do I get?
What weapons do you get? What would you need?
Base
you don't get like a
gladiatorial weapons. No, of course. Like swords, shields, spears, bows, sort of thing.
All right. Well, we know about the category of weapon you would have access to. So, like, you just, like, when we get there, you just, like... I think I might need this, but I think I can do it. So you get light assistance from like, a selection of weapons on your way into these fights. Oh, shit, these link to their, like, Bulbapedia pages where you can, like, look at the actual stats and shit. That's helpful. First one up is fucking Bulbasaur. You think you got that?
Easily. Have you seen that motherfucker? That motherfucker doesn't know what, like... 2 + 2 is.
How big is he?
2 foot tall.
He's 2 foot
from like the top of this. I have the Pokedex open. There's a Pokedex from fucking Pokemon.com, and you can click on it and you can see their height, their category, their abilities, their weight. This motherfucker's 15 pounds.
Garden. He's
15 I could
pounds.
That's like a
medium dog. That's like a medium dog.
I could throw this guy hard enough to kill him. Yeah, I'm beating him.
15.2 pounds. Yeah, his height is 2'4".
Yeah. No, I could throw him hard enough to kill him. I'm winning.
Yeah, but have you considered his like abilities? Have you considered his like well, he can't really do that much.
Have you considered that I have a sword? He could vine he could try to vine me, but that ends with cutting it, you know?
Okay, you have a sword in this instance. Sure.
I'm taking a sword. That's all I'm taking throughout all these, okay?
That's all you're taking? You're taking just the sword.
Just the sword.
That's it for
just
like how far sword. Can you get? Do you want a shield with that or just the sword?
I'll take a shield with it, sure, yeah.
All right, you get like a little like shitty like metal wooden like rounded shield. You know those fucking things look. All right, Ivysaur. All right, Next one up. Let's take a step up.
This motherfucker is 3 foot tall, but still 30 pounds. I'm kicking his ass.
Yeah, he's just like a foot tall. He's not even what? Why is he? Oh, the bulb. The bulb is why he's a foot taller.
The bulb.
I see.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
He's just like slightly bigger. Like again, I could throw this guy hard enough to kill him probably. So yeah, I'm winning.
Easy shit.
So here's where we're getting into the weird things.
Yeah, because this one's got multiple forms. We're including the base form of said Pokemon.
Yeah.
Venusaur is 220 pounds and 6'7".
Okay, so this motherfucker
taller
is
than you and weighs almost as much as you. Do you weigh like what? 230, 240?
No, I'm not gonna discuss my weight on the podcast, but yeah, like I'm more than 220 pounds.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was talking to a lady. Who polite to discuss her own weight.
When I'm matched against
all
like
of your
fucking
insecurities
Venusaur,
on the fucking show.
When I have to say, yes, I am heavier than Venusaur, the fucking like freak ass monster. Like, yeah, no shit, I'm not gonna want to talk about it.
No, you make a good point. You make a salient point. Okay, how do you think you've got this one?
His
How do
ability
you feel
is
you fare?
overgrow. Okay, no, that's like for other
Again,
things.
we'll call it 5 minutes of combat, 3 rounds,
5 minutes of combat,
5 minutes each. You either survive or it's a survival match or a kill match. If you can kill him, you have to.
I don't know if I could kill him, but I think I might be able to straddle him. And then he's kind of fucked.
Like get on his back, like an alligator, where you get on his back.
Yeah,
and just
kinda
get his ass, and then he's like done because he can't get you off.
Pretty much, I think.
He's got like vines though. That could like come up and fucking get your ass.
With the sword, it depends. I don't know their moves all that well. I do think I could make it to Venusaur though.
Yeah, we're mostly just judging on just like images and what our like knowledge of Pokemon is, and it's not a whole ton.
Yeah.
Should have brought an expert in for this one. But
yeah.
Okay, so you think you've got Venusaur. I think
I've got Venusaur.
I'm not sure I want to contest you on that. I think it would be difficult for sure.
Yeah. All right. Moving on.
Right.
Charmander, that motherfucker is
Charmander?
going into the ground.
That motherfucker can spit flame at you though.
I don't give a shit. I can deal with flame long enough to snap its neck. It produces as much flame as like a fucking like one of those like Lysol.
Well, it's like shooting
throwers.
like it can like give you like fireball. Like it can fucking fireball at you basically.
Not quite fireball because fireball you have to understand
it's like
is
a
5 foot by 5 foot.
Well, it's like a well, yeah, but I think it could manage that. I think it could manage a big ass ball of fire.
I think it would
like
die.
Once or twice.
I think we've seen in the cartoons that like it will like fucking kill itself if it tries too hard with those sorts of things. Either way, I think I could make it through fire long enough to get through it.
This guy weigh? Does this matter? He's 2 foot and 18 pounds. No, he doesn't matter.
Yeah, where it's like also
not really a
flame on his
factor
tail.
over the fucking
What
fire.
does the landscape look like? That affects
What's the landscape look like? It's like a flat, like not grass, but like a fucking
sand
dirt thing. It's like it's
if
like
I throw enough sand at this thing, he's dying.
Have, like,
this motherfucker
sand him to death?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a flame on his tail, and when that goes out, he dies. Like that's the whole thing.
He's got like a weak point, sure, but like I don't
just throw sand at him enough that he would die.
You think it's just gonna allow you to throw sand at him?
I've got a shield.
I don't know.
He's not got like fire breath. It's wooden, but it's gonna protect me long enough for me to either get close enough to snap his neck or get close enough to fucking stamp out his tail some way.
Fucking snap his neck and throw sand at him? Is that your plan? Sand?
Yeah. Sand
I can't believe
and
this
neck
shit.
snapping.
I can't believe
I think I'd beat
this shit.
Charmander.
That's ridiculous. That's
I think I'd
fucking
beat Charmander.
ridiculous.
Come
All
on.
right.
Are you gonna contest or are you gonna fold?
I don't think I want to contest you on this one. Charmeleon. Let's talk about Charmeleon.
Ooh, okay.
Charmeleon.
So this motherfucker is like a teenager, and he's like angry.
Charmeleon is 3'7". He's 3'7" and 41.9 pounds.
There is a large chance that he would not even give a shit long enough to do it.
What do you mean?
Charmeleon is notorious for not giving a shit and not listening to orders. Like that's his whole thing.
But this thing like wants you dead. This thing is like after you.
Like for sure.
Like for the sake of the gag. Like he's fucking like trying to get you. Like that. Like we can't just fucking befriend these guys and call it done.
I wouldn't say it's befriending. I just think that he wouldn't give a shit about me enough to like fully finish me off. I think that he would like try maybe, and then kind of just throw in the towel.
Can we not say fully finish me off? I didn't consider because anyway, but
yeah. So like, say he's like rage filled. I don't know if I could beat him.
Like loser in this case is fucking like executed after the match if they live. So like, and I'm pretty sure this Pokemon would understand that. Like I think it has enough like cognitive ability to get behind that.
Okay. I think that So they never go into it because they never like to do like gore on that show. But if you cut off the tip of their tail, they're dead. I assume so because they can't produce the fire on there. I think I might be able to. I think I might be able to throw a rock hard enough at it.
Slightly exacerbated.
Like a big enough rock? I think I could throw a big enough rock at it to fucking like crush its tail.
Right. Well,
I think I could dodge it long enough to again, do that.
I'm working on the mental assumption. I haven't said this out loud, but I'm working on the mental assumption that I get to contest you on like one of these.
Oh no, you can contest me on any of these.
Well, no, well, that's what I'm saying is I get to contest you on one of these. That's like the quote unquote like win condition is like I contest you on it, and whether or not we agree or disagree on it is like the end there.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it. Anyway, moving on though. I just don't. I feel like this one's not quite the one that I would want to bother with. This one's not quite
your winner. Charizard.
However, Charizard's one of your 3 skips.
Fuck this motherfucker. This motherfucker would eat me.
Okay, good. I was kind of hoping you'd go for it. I was hedging my bets on that because I was like, man, if Jed goes for this, then I fucking got him dead to rights.
Squirtle is getting punted.
This bitch can shoot fire and fly and shit. Squirtle's getting punted. That's fine. We've already talked about we've already talked about Charmander, and that's basically just the same thing, but this one's water.
I can stand up to
this one's less deadly.
Hose. Yeah, I think I could. Yeah.
Wartortle, we're starting to get to the point where this thing can give you pressure washer levels of fucking water.
I think I can handle that. I think I can handle that long enough. Well, it's got pretty good defense because of its shell. So
yeah, it's got a shell on it.
I'm thinking, So I think what I have to do is I have to make a good strategy too, so that then you won't try to contest it. So
yeah, no, you gotta think of something that could feasibly work in my eyes.
All right.
Now's a good time to mention this thing is 3'3" and 50 pounds.
Yeah. So he's not that big.
He ain't that big, but that's probably a hardy
I've
shell.
Got a sword.
Most of that weight is his shell.
I'm having this moment where I'm just like, oh yeah, sword. If I could get that thing close enough.
But he's got a shell.
A sword goes fucking straight through the neck hole, brother. Even if he completely goes into there, I could fucking turn him into scrambled eggs.
Oh fuck, man, Christ!
Pour him out of his shell like a soup. All right.
That's
I win.
That's the grossest image ever. But Blastoise. Blastoise is
wow. He's a lot smaller than I thought he was.
He's 5'3", short king, and he is 188 pounds. But that's 188 pounds of fucking turtle, dude.
See, so we're getting to not just pressure washer, but fucking
this thing is a fire hose. Yeah.
I'm thinking no. I'm thinking skip.
You're thinking this is gonna be your second of 3 skips?
Yep. Because now we're into the easy
shit. I'll lend you that. Because then you get to fucking Caterpie.
Squish.
Yeah, that's fair.
Win because he can't do anything.
He literally
can't do anything.
It's hard, but you could break that thing, I think.
I mean, yeah, I think I would just literally have to sit next to him and he could use his harden move a million times and then that would be it. And then I would win based on time. Butterfree, easy, done.
Easy done.
Rip its wings off. Yeah, fuck it, sure.
That thing could fly, dog. I don't know.
And I've caught flies. I consistently catch flies out of the air. I've got pretty good reflexes. I do actually. It's something that I learned to do as a kid, and I never gave up.
Yeah, all right. This thing is. Oh my god, this is a 3-foot butterfly.
Holy
that weighs 70
shit! This
pounds.
motherfucker is 70 pounds. Oh my god!
I didn't see that until just now. Do you still stand that you could just get that motherfucker?
I think he would actually be easier to get. I don't think I could just rip its rip it in half, but I think I could I don't know.
Want to fight a bug?
I don't really mind bugs all that much, but I think I could. Yeah, I think I could swing it down with a sword. I think I could swing my sword accurate enough that I could at least stun it and then kill it. So I'm saying yeah.
I think Weedle, you could get it, especially if it were actively after you. Weedle, sure.
No need.
This one's spiky. This one's got a spike. He's a foot.
Not
he's 10
squish,
pounds.
chop in half.
Okay.
Kakuna.
Right. Kakuna.
Able to move only slightly when endangered, may stick out its... Okay. So it can't move, and it can't really attack. So this is another... We're having another...
Another fucking Metapod moment. Yeah.
Metapod, yeah.
No,
Beedrill.
Beedrill.
Fuck.
Beedrill's a big
my god.
fucker.
I think I might... Well, he's not that big. He's
3. It's a 3-foot hornet. What are you talking about? The way
he's smaller than
pounds.
Butterfly. He's smaller than Butterfree. Is
yes,
what I mean.
But he's got like a stinger and like drill hands, dog.
I know, and that's why I'm thinking this might be another skip. This might be my final skip because fuck that shit, dude.
Fuck
like this
that.
motherfucker.
Is that gonna be your third skip?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We should have bet. Okay, hold on. We need to bet how many of these I can get through, because like that's the win condition for me. Is if I could get through more than like 50. We'll say Gen 1.
I bet you don't make it through 50 of these.
Okay. All right.
Without looking at the actual list, I bet you don't make it to 50.
Beedrill's my next skip.
Beedrill's your next skip.
I could fucking... Yeah, what are you gonna do? Peck me? I'm gonna
It's a bird.
You.
It's a bird, dude. It's a foot tall and 4 pounds.
Could you kill a pigeon?
Bird. Probably. I probably couldn't catch it, but if it were actively trying to get me, I could, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll give you that one.
So...
Pidgeot.
Pidgeot, 3
Pidgeotto.
foot tall.
Pidgeotto.
That's
the next one. 307, 3'7", and 66.1 pounds.
I think
that thing's got talons.
I think that they're birds, so they've got hollow bones.
America's got talons.
If I could get it close enough that I could grab its talons to just like fucking Hulk with Loki it into the ground enough times, I think I would win.
You think you would win?
Like,
how
I think I would
likely
get
do you think
some
you would be able
gnarly
to
ass
do that?
scratches. I think pretty likely, because it works mainly on talon. Yeah, it works mainly with its talons and not its beak or anything. It doesn't have any special powers. So, like, if it came in with a talon strike...
It has big
yeah,
pecs.
But, like, then again, like, it would have to get close enough to me that I could just grab it and then just, like, fucking wail on it. Like, the thing is it's a bird. It's not got very high defense, so as long as I can get it, it's dead.
All right. Pidgeot.
Now we're getting into weird territory.
This bird is 4'11", short king, 87 pounds.
87-pound bird. So I couldn't maneuver this thing very well. But then again, I don't think that it would move very fast. I feel like it's a Boeing, where it's like it can't move rapidly. It's not got good like at agility, but it's got good speed. It's not got good acceleration. So I think if I could get it while it's in takeoff. Like, I think even if I could get it to land for some reason by just, like, hiding it out, and then if I could fucking stomp on those tail feathers, I think I could beat him. I think if I could ground him, he would be
The Pokemon Wiki says that Pidgeot is a powerful flyer, creating whirlwinds strong enough to bend trees. At maximum velocity, it can reach Mach 2. However, I don't think it's reaching Mach 2 while actively trying to attack somebody in an enclosed arena.
Yeah, and I don't think it does that very quickly. I assume that, like, it's 0 to 60 is, like, probably your average, like, fucking shitty car, Maybe. Where it's, like, it's not that fast.
So I'm thinking it takes a while to get up to Mach 2, I don't know. You thinking you could get this? All right.
I'm thinking I could.
I don't really want to contest you on it, honestly, because I'm curious to see. No, like, I'm betting on, like, fucking we get to 50, dude.
No, yeah, I was saying I'm sorry because Rattata, sorry, buddy.
Oh,
like you're getting like dead. Super murdered. Same with Raticate.
He's a foot tall and 7 pounds. How about Raticate? Let's see Raticate real quick. This motherfucker, this is a 2-foot fucking, like, rat beaver thing, and it weighs 40 pounds. Look at the teeth on that thing. You think he could take that? He's got big teeth.
Yeah,
you think
it's shaped like a soccer ball.
That shouldn't matter.
My arms are like, that like bit where it's like hold your arm out and on the kid's forehead and it can't get you? I could do that to it.
Huh.
Look at its arms. Look at its dumbass little arms.
I don't even see arms here. I just see hands attached to its body.
Hands.
Yeah, there's just hands on this image here.
He'd just kind of be fucked. Like I've got like size superiority on this motherfucker. His
That's
abilities are run away, dude. This motherfucker
Okay.
is not.
Spiro. He's a tiny bird. He's a foot and 4 pounds.
Yes, this one's actually a pretty fast one. I think I would struggle with this one more, but it doesn't do very good. Like, yeah, its attack isn't very high. So I think I could handle him. I think I could handle him in the same way that I handled Pidgeot.
Well, it's not very high. You got to think about these attack numbers. These are rated like against other Pokemon, not like against a human being.
Well, I just mean that like if you're taking so I think that the most average Pokemon to human ratio is something like because we have the like power of scale against a good amount of these Pokemon. At least this one,
right?
Where it's like, you know, it doesn't really matter if it's pecking me. Yeah, its attack may be good against other Spearows, but I'm like a fucking like Blastoise compared to it, you know?
I guess.
Where it's like, I don't know. I think I'm good with the peck.
All right.
I'm good with a peck or two.
What about fucking Firo? This motherfucker's got
I think
a
I might
neck
be
you could
fucked.
grab. No, this motherfucker's got a neck you could grab.
Yeah.
He's 3'11", 83 pounds, very long neck crane-esque bird.
Yeah, that's
with,
true,
like,
actually.
Wings and talons and shit.
If it senses danger, it flies away instantly.
Okay,
that's its wiki. That's its
Factoring
wiki
that
for
in,
it.
I think you've got it. Ekans, could you kick the shit out of a snake?
Oh, fuck.
This thing is 6 feet long and weighs 15 pounds. It's a 6 foot,
yes.
15 pound snake.
I've got a sword and a shield, and I know how to deal with. I've had to deal with snakes with like rattlesnakes with shovels. I use my Arizona defense against Ekans.
Okay.
Arbok,
right,
I think
fine.
I'm fucked. I think I'm really, really, really fucked.
You think you're actually fucked on this one? Arbok is 11 feet long and 143 pounds.
Yeah.
Do you think you're actually fucked? Is this your I'm done for right here, right now?
I think. Oh, wait,
24.
hold on. The pattern on its belly appears. Okay, so it more works on scaring things away, and oftentimes animals that scare things away are because they don't have that well of a defense.
Not necessarily.
I might be able to Drax this motherfucker.
What do you mean?
Like, get him to swallow me whole and then just start going ham. Like you know that scene in Guardians of the Galaxy when he gets swallowed by the monster and he like just wails from the inside out of this thing.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. Is this thing venomous? Do we know?
Yeah. It's a poison type Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Well, like,
yeah, so it probably wouldn't swallow me whole.
it'd probably just like bite you and kill you first.
Then again, I think I might be able to, because it's a snake, and I've got a sword. I think I might be able to cut it in half before it can bite me fully.
I don't know.
Do I
think
get
you could
medical
probably
care?
get your sword. Yeah, you get medical care after the fact. So I don't think.
Okay, so
like
as
unless
long
it's
as
like an
he's dead.
insanely fast acting poison, like
I think
unless
I could
it have
get
you
that,
dead in 15 minutes, then like yeah. All right,
Yeah.
fine. I'll let you have that on the basis that next up is
okay.
fucking Pikachu. We've seen what this thing can do. Everybody in the world
I
knows
think this
about
motherfucker
Pikachu.
could just stop my heart.
This
Were
thing
you
is
betting
1
on
foot
Pikachu?
tall. This thing is 1 foot tall and 13.2 pounds. No, but I was betting that between 1 and 50, there was at least one Pokemon that it's like, this is unarguably a loss.
Yeah, I don't. It's faster than me, and all it would have to do is fucking like shock me in the right way, and it just stops my heart.
That's fair.
I-
That's fair.
Unless I could do some like weird ass D&D shit and like fucking put my sword in the ground and stand next to it like a lightning rod, that might work. But
I
like
don't know
even
that
then,
would work.
it depends on how his lightning works.
His lightning just kind of seeks out. It's not like regular lightning where it like seeks out the like nearest path to ground.
Yeah, it's like a chosen thing. Yeah,
It's like a like a thing he can control to a certain degree.
well, shit. Am I wearing rubber shoes?
No, I don't think so in this case.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything I can do. If it's just a dirt
Just because
landscape,
I don't know
think
that
I'm
in
just
like
fucked.
a gladiatorial thing, they'd be able to provide you rubber shoes.
This motherfucker, we've seen this motherfucker go at like the speed of fucking light. I think that electric type
Pikachu's
Pokemon
got like
just in general.
main character problem of like we would assume this thing is way less powerful than it actually is.
Okay. So we're not taking show, but rather just like how a Pikachu is.
We're taking like raw ability. We're gonna say that Ash's Pikachu is way too fucking powerful of a Pikachu to count, and it is definitely an outlier.
Is like disgusting. However, a regular Pikachu can like it discharges energy similar to like an outlet, and I've been shocked by an outlet before, and I could handle it. I think.
Oh, okay. But then you got Raichu. Not a big electricity fan, are you? In terms of like combat.
Well, because like what it's like, what can you do? It's the fuck you, turn off your heart button. You know?
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's cheating almost. Its tail just if I'm in the Pokemon world, they get electrocuted all the time, and like nobody's had their heart stopped by an electric Pokemon.
Well, we're working on them versus you and like a death, and I'm assuming that like when people are shocked by Pokemon casually, that Pokemon is probably not like it's like your dog bites you playfully sometimes, but doesn't fucking like rip your arm off, even though it totally could.
That's true. Its tail discharges electricity in the ground, protecting it from getting shocked. So it can get shocked, is what I'm hearing here, by its own electricity.
Okay, I just did some research. The human body can withstand 480 volts of electricity. A Raichu can produce up to 100,000 volts of electricity. You will be a dust.
This is cheating. This is just cheating.
This isn't cheating. This is well within the confines of the question. You know just as well as I did going into this that Pokemon are fucking busted, dude.
Yeah, I did. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I can do Sandshrew either. Like, even if we start going further,
like you're gonna run into another situation like this again before 50. I would even say, like, I'm not giving you another skip here. I'm taking the win, but I'm just saying, even if we were to like for fun this and like walk it forward, I think that you would be fucked. Even as soon as like fucking Nidoqueen, yeah.
Yeah, like pretty much all of these afterwards are like, oh yeah, well, I'm just dead, I guess. Because we get like poison type that like put poison clouds into the air that like actually super murder you, and like the Zubat family that just like ruptures your eardrums and that's it. We get fire types and shit. Yeah,
Zubat family. We have the Zubat family. They're here to rupture your eardrums, Steve.
They're here to make the loudest noise known to man.
Name something you might find in your friend's kitchen.
Zubat, Steve.
Jesus, like just fucking screeching.
Oh shit, Diglett. Diglett is number 50. Diglett would have been the final boss.
Diglett would have been the last thing we put you up against. Where is Diglett? How far until we got to Diglett?
He's 50.
And we're at what, 27?
Yeah, Raichu
26.
Is like the
we're at 26. We're at 26.
I think even like Pikachu is like
Where the fuck was Pichu? Hold on a goddamn minute. Pichu's way out of the order.
in Generation 1.
That's insane. Why the fuck does the Pikachu line only have like 2 evolutions?
Well, yeah, because it splits. It like
crazy.
There are some that have like family splits like that. Yeah.
I don't think
Fiero gets an extra one. But yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
I win. I take the victory.
You win. You get that one. That was like an incredibly long segment. That was actually a lot of fun.
One. Yeah, no, that was a real fun like think conversation. See, it still led to like very minimal amounts.
I would say that was an argument, but
give us something intense. Go for it. Throw it at us.
Okay.
Hit it.
Something funny or something that's genuinely kind of serious. I want you to take the pick on this one.
Let's go funny. We can't follow up which Pokemon could you beat in a fight with like a serious question that we're gonna argue about.
It's not terribly serious, but like
Well, no, yeah.
okay.
Let's go a
Mint
little
and
silly.
chocolate are the ideal pairing. Sans York bars.
Outside of the York peppermint patty, maybe so.
Really?
I think if you got the ratio right, you could have a good mint chocolate combo. However,
Like,
I
mint
have
chocolate
never
chip is good.
tasted. I've never tasted a single mint chocolate thing. Granted, I don't seek it out very often, so my limited pool of experience is all I have. I think if you got the ratio right, it could be good. I think in most cases the ratio is not quite right. Like, it's just
I think
imperfect.
that the ratio has a lot more variability than you're giving it credit for, because like, so long as it isn't like all mint, or so long as it isn't all mint, then you're fine, because like the chocolate cuts some of the like vibrance of the thing with its richness, but like the mint cuts the richness of the chocolate, and I think it's a very delightful pairing.
I hear you, and I think it can be good. I think you're right. I just think that we like agree, but like I think the window is just a little slimmer for me than it is for you when it comes to that ratio. Like, I think mint chocolate. I don't think they're a perfect pairing. I think they're better. I don't think they're the most. I don't think they're the most perfect pairing. I think there are better. I don't think that they're the most. There.
But I think they're one of the best. I think that like chemically they are, because like, you know, not necessarily chemically, but like the freshness of the mint cuts out the richness of the chocolate, the sweetness of the chocolate cuts out the spiciness of the mint. Like it all kind of like meshes together into this like ideal, refreshing. It's the only ice cream that I will get in the middle of summer that won't make me feel a little bit ugh.
I think you just have a weird ice cream tolerance, but I also think that there's not really an argument here. Necessarily.
I don't think so either. I thought that you've multiple, or maybe it was YV. I feel like I lay in on mint chocolate.
I lay in on mint chocolate sometimes, but like, you know, more for the bit than anything else. I don't really have.
Oh, okay.
Like, and I would love to further that bit, but I that's not a bit that goes any further than like an ew, you know, like.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like I can't argue that. So we're calling this one a draw then.
Mint chip is good. Yeah, I mean, unless you're willing to tap on that, like, yeah, mint chip is a good pairing.
I think it is, but I never like took the stance that it wasn't.
Then I would say, oh no, I think that's a
like we just agree on this one.
I think that's a loss for me, because that was a loss for you when I on the like falling from certain stories.
Was it? Do we count that as a loss then?
I think we do. I think I take the L.
Okay.
I'm like super taking the L. Mostly based on like.
I don't want to give that one to me though, because like I didn't really do anything for it, you know?
I didn't really do anything for the like stories one either.
Yeah, I guess we'll count it then. We're inflating numbers a little bit here. We're 3-1 now. That's
I can't win this.
You can win this. How many topics do you have left?
One more. And I'm picking a losing stance on that one. But
I got 4, and if we can go to the 2-hour mark, then we're good.
You hit it. Go.
Yeah, all right, fine. I was gonna give you another shot since you like
mine's a
shot at redemption.
So we'll save it to the end.
Okay, all right. Well, but I wanna end on a funny. I don't have 4. I have 3 because I forgot to erase Pokemon from my list.
Okay. Oh, you have more. Oh, I thought you had 4 base. Okay, so I definitely can win this. All right, we'll lightning round these a little bit. All right, you go.
Yeah, okay. Fucking, what's the most overrated film you've ever seen?
Most overrated film I've ever seen is fuck. I'm really bad.
Find an argument
films.
there. I figure I'm a big film guy. I might be able to find a redemption in it.
I don't think we'd be able to find a really like. I think that Titanic is a little bit overrated, but I think that most people think that.
I think we agree on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me look up the top 10 movies and I'll.
No. Top 10 movies is for a different thing. No? Top 10 movies is a different thing.
Okay. Don't do that.
That's something I've got written down here as like, we're going to go through the top 10 movies as a podcast bit at some point.
Okay. Then, fuck, you name a really good movie that you know that I don't like, because I'm bad with memory on this thing.
I don't know any movies that you don't. I don't think we've ever watched a movie together where you were like, yeah, this kind of sucks.
I mean, I'm not.
That's because we don't make time to watch movies together very often.
I also don't say like I'll say like yeah, it wasn't my thing, instead of like yeah, this sucks.
Because like we see movies that
there's
objectively
some things
suck together, but I don't think
Yeah.
like I think those movies objectively suck, and like there aren't many people enough to defend it that we could call it overrated.
Oh, okay. I think I've got one. I think Marvel is our saving grace here. I think that every Marvel movie is overrated.
Every Marvel movie is overrated? All
with
of
the
them?
exception of like Iron Man and like maybe Infinity War.
Pick one. Yeah, pick one. Go ahead.
Pick
the one you think is most
overrated.
overrated.
Ooh.
Like one Marvel movie that you think is the most singular, most like, why the fuck do people like this so much? Like, you don't even have to think it's bad. You just have to like think that like it doesn't merit the praise that it gets.
All right. Sorry, God, I'm pulling a blank on Marvel movies now. I've definitely got some. Yeah, hold on, let me pull it up. Marvel movie list, because like there are some. Endgame is kind of one that I would say.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think you kind of agree with me on that one.
I could argue that Endgame is good. I could argue that Endgame deserves every bit of hype that it gets.
I think you having to argue the losing point doesn't like.
No, because like I do kind of believe that it deserves what it got, because it does mark sort of like the end of like it can't be judged on its own singular merit necessarily, because like it's a part of a larger series, and it's so dependent on being part of a larger series, and that might hurt it as a film. But in terms of like how it's treated in like the public eye and how like rated it is, I think it deserves a good 99% of what it gets when it comes to like the positive energy that people feed that movie, because it does mark like the end of like at the smallest scale you could say a 2-part saga that was like the absolute biggest film to ever release. You know, it's a sequel to the biggest film to ever release monetarily, and then became the biggest film to ever release monetarily after that.
My issue
and like
is
not only just box office numbers, but like it wrapped like 50 character arcs in one movie, which does affect it as a movie, but I feel like that is an achievement for like the fans of those characters.
I just like I think I have more issues with it because I see it as the beginning of the end, where it's just like I don't think that there's very many good movies after it. But I do have one that I will stand firm on. Ant-Man is a not great movie.
Ant-Man, the first one?
The first one.
I think it's pretty good.
It was so forgettable that I forgot about it in my movie list.
Well, I think that the thing about Ant-Man is Ant-Man's a very consumable Marvel movie. It came out at a time where Marvel wasn't doing a lot of new IP and was doing mostly just sequel, you know? And so it was a good like entrance to a franchise. It introduced a very cool character and took like a very like, to my understanding, like unique take on that character by not bringing Hank Pym, but instead bringing fucking Paul Rudd or whatever his goddamn name is, whatever his character name is.
I genuinely think that's kind of boring.
It is a little less interesting. I think the more I learn about Hank, I think Hank Pym, even in the films, is like a more interesting character than Scott Lang. You know, Scott Lang is just like a divorced dad who like is a felon and can't see his kid very often. And it's like, that's like depressing, dog. Why is this guy an Avenger? You know?
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. I just think it's kind of a forgettable movie overall. Like, I think he's a not good superhero. I think they took like bad writing decisions with that. And I think that like afterwards, I guess this doesn't really count to the movie itself, but the Ant-Man character then goes into like the weird fuck off, go into the fucking Quantum Mania bullshit.
Quantum Mania is bad. We can all agree that one fucking sucked. That one was bad. But that wasn't the right sequel. We got Ant-Man and the Wasp before that, and that was all right. It wasn't great, but it was all right.
I think I saw it, but that's another one that's so forgettable that I don't know if I did.
I saw it.
I can't even tell if I did.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's just that forgettable. But either way, like, I think that Ant-Man, the movie, is just not good.
Yeah, that one was one that like I wasn't sure you'd have an answer for, but if you did, I knew I could like argue because I'm a big film guy. I can argue in favor of most movies, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you want to throw your last one in the ring?
No,
Your
we're doing a lightning round. One more of yours.
One more.
Oh wait, who won
mine?
that one?
I don't really think there was much there. I think I lost, if anything.
Okay.
Just because like bad line of questioning for the argument episode. I really did come with some fucking duds today. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm
better at arguing than starting arguments.
Worst part about that York peppermint patty one was I was like, that's the one that will be an argument for sure.
Oh man. Well, I could tell because you had like a stipulation on that one. You like bothered to like get into like the fucking legalese of it.
Yeah. All right. One more, and then we'll go into my serious one, and then we'll finish off with yours.
I don't know. One more. Well, I only have one more. Really?
Oh, you only have one more? Okay. All right. I thought you said you had like 4 more. So, all right. Then,
well, no, I have to. Well, let me do mine, and then we'll finish with yours, and then I've got one that we can close the episode with.
All right, we'll close the episode with it as the closing bit.
Yeah. That's what we'll do. Right. We'll play that one out. So let me do this. What is the biggest, most innocuous red flag a person can have? What is the single thing that means nothing in isolation, in a vacuum, without further context, means quite literally nothing, but based on context clues, can absolutely tell you everything bad about that person? What do you think it is?
Oh, man. This might come from trauma. People who talk about how much they love their family.
Really? Really? You think that stems
specifically
from projection?
men?
You think that that's like a projection
who say
thing?
A lot of like, I love my family. This is that. Like that stems from a lot of like making sure that they're keeping people in line and making sure that people see the part of them that they want them to see. You know, because like I honestly don't think I've met a family man, or especially a father, who's been like, I love my family. I know of real life
family men who are good at being a family man, but they don't. The thing about being a family man and being good at it is that you don't have to tell everybody that you're a family man. People understand that about you implicitly, you know, where you don't really have to say anything. I'm sorry. I'm getting real close to my mic. There's a fly walking around on my desk. Like he's not.
Eat it. It'll be good for you.
No, he's not like flying. He can fly. I just saw him do it. Oh, he's not a fly. He's like a bug. He's like a little outside like a beetle. Yeah.
I kind of like little outside beetles.
Here,
I'm pro bugs in the home.
I'm gonna show him to my husband and get my husband to identify him.
Okay, we're having a bug identify break on our podcast.
We're taking a bug identify break. Go ahead.
Go ahead on the podcast.
Go ahead. Not you. Don't say anything. But like, I just want you to see it, and then you can fill me in, either at the end of the show or during.
Let them speak. Come on, Buck.
No. We just had a whole bit about this on stream. We can't do that. Fill in for me, Jed. Keep talking. What were you talking about?
Fill in? Okay. I was talking about how... Oh, God. What was I talking about? Little Bug got me confused.
Yeah, Little Bug, like, completely sidetracked me, too, dude.
Were we still talking about Marvel movies? No, we could see that one.
We weren't talking about Marvel movies.
Right.
Apparently it was something bad. He was just like motioning at me to fucking squish that thing, and
my God!
I'm not going to kill it against my skin, so I just sort of shook it off. It's somewhere else now. The cats will get it. Again, it's like a little outside beetle. It's not gonna fucking like.
Well, Little Bug.
Can I give Little Bug a point? You
should have killed it.
Can I give Little Bug a point?
Yeah, give Little Bug a point for this one. We've forgotten the topic, and thus Little Bug gets it.
Oh, biggest red flag. You were talking about family men. Right. I was saying that like being a family man is possible, but like if you're actually a decent, good family man, you don't have to say it all the time. Like it's not something you have to bring up. So maybe that is a big red flag in people. Someone who has to insist like, no, I love my family. I love my family. People who are actually that way don't have to remind people all the time that they are a family man and love their family. Like I guess I can get behind that.
I guess the other red flag that I have that I think is a little bit more, iffy, is people who are really, really like, man, I wish I had a boyfriend, or like, I wish I had a girlfriend.
Oh yeah, those people. Yeah, no.
But
I get that some
don't
people
think
are
that's a very
actually
uncommon one.
I get that people are actually just sometimes hopeless romantics or aren't able to find a relationship for one reason or another legitimately. But I think if you're actively out there looking and have been for a very long time, for like years and years, I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with you, but there are certain people who are just like so longing and languishing to be in a relationship that like there are clear reasons that you're not. And it is evident through your like want to be loved, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of
really
that does
think
in
of
fact
anything
stem from like wanting to be loved and not wanting to love.
I think that the issue is that we've stemmed into like serious territory where like I can't really take a bizarre stance. Like of course the fucking buffet one, I took an absurdist stance, but like
Right.
I'm trying to think of an
You
actual
didn't
red
take an
flag that I
absurd
have.
stance. That one was your stance. I clarified with you that that's what you really fucking thought.
Yeah, to a degree. But
That was like an absurdist. Okay, now we're being revisionist about the podcast that we're doing that happened like
I'm not
like an
trying
hour
to.
ago.
Sorry.
Anyway, shoot me yours.
But
Shoot me yours. Because you said you
all
were
right,
gonna
all
have to
right.
take a losing stance here too. You're gonna have to take a knee on this one. What is it? What could it possibly
It's not
be?
quite a losing stance. I still agree with it to some degree, but I understand that the population doesn't. Walkable cities are worse than more motorcycle, bicycle friendly cities.
Oh, so we're shooting for ableism now, is what we're doing.
No, because here's my stance. Is
Walk
that
me through it. Walk me through it before I say anything. Go ahead.
it is like there are a lot of people who struggle with walking, like me included, because like that's how I feel about it, where it's like walkable cities where it's like, oh, I can't fucking go to the grocery store because it's a mile away, and like, a mile isn't that big for a normal person, but for me, I'm like gonna have literally going to have a heart attack. That like having some access to like a moped or something more, maybe not necessarily a moped, but smaller modes of transit that are not as 2-ton toddler crushing machines.
Walkable cities includes like cyclists and whatnot. You know that, right?
Does it include like
Anything up to
motor?
like a Vespa.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I was thinking of like those European cities that are like really, really like motorcycles are the way to go. But I guess those are technically walkable.
Yeah, like those are walkable. Like walkable doesn't necessarily mean walk enforced or even like walk encouraged as much as just like the sidewalks function and from my home I could reasonably be at a restaurant or at like a coffee shop or at like I almost said a restaurant at the second time, like a grocery store or a doctor's office. I could get to those things from my home by walking. I could reach all my necessities, that I would need to go out for by walking. That's what that means. With a reasonable degree of safety, not like walking the fucking side of the highway for an hour to get there.
Because I guess then the issue that I was running into was that like when I hear walkable cities, it's like only walkable, and it's like,
it's not walk
that's
only.
great, but yeah, okay. Then I guess that was a dud point, and thus, I
can't
take another point off for being dumb.
You've brought duds here. Yeah,
you've brought duds too.
I've
dick.
won. I can't believe you're rapping with a dud. You like front loaded your shit.
Well, I thought I didn't know that I was front loading it. I thought this one was gonna be like a real
well, that's
one.
why I'm so pro walkable city, is because there's so many options in a walkable city. There are like several like options in that, like the street is still available. You could still drive it. That is an option. Like even in something like a car, but like
I guess
it's not like a necessity. It's not like a thing you have to have. No, go ahead. What were you?
Well, because I was going to bring up like then you have the issue of people like me who are not necessarily like I look like the reason that I wouldn't be able to walk to the store is because I'm heavy. It is actually because of more underlying issues. But then that comes down to like, but people will be mean to me because I drive a car instead of walking. And it's like, I guess that's not really a fair point against walkable cities.
Yeah.
So that's why I was
Not
like,
really.
never mind.
No, well, that makes sense. That makes sense that you would bring it there.
Yeah, but like, I guess I just misunderstood what walkable cities are. I think that there are people who get really crazy about walkable cities. I think that there are some people who
crazy.
I think there are some people who like think that cars are like Satan and like the worst thing to ever exist. And it's like, I mean, they're a tool.
Just
but
about.
like I think that they're like, you think that they're just about like the worst thing to ever exist?
No, not the worst thing to ever be invented, but I think the worst used tool like to ever be invented. Like I think it's a thing that where like we've grown so dependent on them societally that people like me who like I'm legally blind. I can't drive. I am cut like if I didn't have somebody like my husband to drive me around, I would be cut off from ever even leaving my home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But,
there are
like, I don't know.
and I'm not a special case. There are millions of
Oh,
people
yeah.
like me deemed unfit to drive, you know, and so like thus deemed unfit to exist in society by that metric because I can't. Not because I'm like being shut out of establishments or anything. Not because like people are actively against me existing in the same space as them. Not for like a racial issue. Not for like an ableism issue. As much as just like it's. I am disabled and my disability disallows my access to life in a car, you know?
Yeah.
Life by car is just off the table for me, and I think like maybe it's because I'm close to the issue and see it as worse than it is, but like I don't know, there are people in wheelchairs who can't drive because they can't afford to get the little like thing where you can like do the pedals with your hands on like the steering wheel, or they can't like there are other blind people like me. There are people who are deaf. There are people who just don't want to drive, and that should be a good enough reason to not have to. And they're a major pollutant as well. That's a problem. You know, it's like it's not the biggest pollutant in the world, but you can't honestly say that like if a good 40% of people like if no one had to drive and it was a choice to drive, that like pollution wouldn't be like the needle wouldn't at least be a little moved by that.
No, and I agree with that. My main issue is against the people who are like, I think that cars should be a commercial thing only, pretty much, where it's like the private consumer should not be able to, you know, have a vehicle because like I've seen some people who that's their take, and it's like for me, I live in the desert where it's like even if it was walkable, there are some times of the year that I couldn't walk to it, and even then, I have family out of state, and I like catching a train won't get me there, you know.
So your argument, your thoughts against if I couldn't own a car isn't that I wouldn't be able to access anything as it is. It's that, like, in a walkable city, if I were in a walkable city, all the areas right now where I'm at are not walkable because I'm not in a walkable city currently. That just sounds silly.
Well, no, I guess that wasn't necessarily my point. It was more so as well that like, you know,
if they were to privatize car ownership, like to such a degree where it's only commercial car availability, they might as well make breathing only a commercial thing because you would get just as far, you know?
Well, yeah.
In like a vast majority of the country.
Yeah, I mean that's just the stance that I have against that specific stance because I'm not against walkable cities. I just like, you know, I'm very pro walkable cities. I was just saying that like, you know, either way, like I do think that there are some downsides to walkable cities though of like getting groceries. I think would be really, really difficult without access to like at least like I guess you could get like carts or something.
Jed, you can still use your car. You're not. Yeah, they're not going to rip the streets up in a walkable city.
That's the issue that I run into. Is that like that is my issue with the walkable cities people is that they are like genuinely like no car ever, or the people who are like
and that's the lifestyle they want to live, you know, and that's okay. That some people elect but they aren't not saying to drive. Like, I thought what you were saying was
for a personal decision. They're saying it for like, if you drive a car, you are a moral type of person. Where it's like, huh?
honestly, I'm gonna say something that might hurt your feelings here. I think you've been caught up in a lot of harmful right-wing rhetoric about walkable cities because the kind of people who think that are like 5 whole people. The kind of people you're like throwing me the they want litter boxes in schools equivalent argument against walkable cities. That like there are like a couple of crazies out there who actually
I have met people like that.
I haven't met a soul. Like ever. Like not about this, just ever. I've never met a single human being.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna like out anybody, but like, yeah, no, like, I don't know. I just, I guess. Oh,
are you about to talk about someone we know?
Yeah, I was. But
well, frankly, that person is not very articulate. Not that they're dumb, not that their opinion is dumb, but they are not very articulate. I know who you're talking about, and thus, like, their thoughts and opinions on like, I don't disagree with them, right? As much as just they are a little more extreme than me. They're a lot more extreme than me in a lot of cases, and just because I agree with them, I definitely do not want to be lumped in with them.
Okay, fair enough. And I guess that was my issue, was that like I got in, like that. That is my one friend who I've talked to that like I've had any genuine serious conversation about walkable cities, because I'm pro walkable cities. It's just like for some reason that and then my TikTok then started feeding the same thing to me, and I was like, man, this is like this is a little bit far.
But, source-cited TikTok.
Source-cited TikTok. Yeah, exactly.
Source-cited TikTok.
Source-cited TikTok and my friend. I'll take the L story. I'll take TikTok. I'll take like double point L for this one. Although I don't think that matters because like I'm already like way in the next. Can we get a point?
We are
point count
5-2-1 in my favor.
5-2-1 and Little Bug.
Yeah, no, like that one is Little Bug. There are no draws yet. I'm shocked that we like sort of just like kind of got rid of the need for the draw category to exist by me conceding the question was bad that one time and like very early on.
Yeah,
Little Bug got a point, and then
it fucked me over.
You're not last.
Little Bug isn't even involved in the conversation, and he very easally could overtake me.
He could come back and steal another conversation away, and then we'd have to give him another point by the rules that we've set.
All right. I was gonna bring back an old argument. Should we do that, do you think?
Well, I have an oldie. I have an oldie written down here. I think we might have the same oldie. But can we talk about the argument first? So, I think, did we talk about it on episode 10?
We did talk about it on our stories, yeah.
Okay, our story episode, we talked about this. Yeah, you guys know that we have a history. We have a history with this particular question. But in one of the one of the episodes of Half-Life VR AI, the question is posed: is Chuck E. Cheese a restaurant or an entertainment center? It cannot be both. And I've just taken that question, and it became a conversation starter that I expected to go nowhere. So
I rewatched the segment. It's not, is it a restaurant or an entertainment place? It is just, is it a restaurant? Period. There was no other option given.
Well, no, they ask, is it a restaurant? Well, they ask, is it a restaurant? And then the counter argument is posed that it is an entertainment place. That it is like an entertainment center, and then that becomes like the two halves of the argument, with the stipulation that it cannot be both. But the thing about it, right, was this question was posed, and then I took it and I used it as a conversation. What the fuck was that?
I slightly shifted my keyboard, and it sounded like fucking stone moving sound. Sorry.
Jesus Christ. But that question was posed, and I took it as a conversation starter. And I used it one night, and me and Jed genuinely riffed for like an hour. We brought in like a jury of our peers.
Oh, more than an hour.
Like more than an hour. Like it became like the evening.
Probably 3 or 4 hours, yeah.
Was like, it was not 3 or 4 hours. It could not have been 3 or 4 hours.
I think I have timestamps of it.
You can't.
I might figure it out.
It's not a thing that you could possibly have timestamps for, because this happened in a VR chat lobby.
Well, but the timestamps are that I texted my friends about it.
Oh, well, I don't think...
I'm not going to pull those up yet. But,
I don't know that we have... timestamps, but I'm certain it wasn't 3 to 4 hours long, because how would you even manage that? It was a very long argument. I'll give it that. But it was, is Chuck E. Cheese a restaurant or an entertainment center? And we riffed on that. And that was a foundational bit of our friendship, and is why so much of our friendship revolves around arguing today. And I believe that my stance was that it was a restaurant, and that your stance was that it was an entertainment center. Yep. And of course, later I told you the full story about like, look, man, this wasn't my question, and this wasn't my war. I didn't really give a shit to begin with, and you just
chose whatever side I wasn't.
Yeah, I just like kind of picked a side, and if we're being genuine about it, I think I might honestly the answer's both. The answer's both, of course, but you
can't tell me that you're.
I think if we're being genuine, I think that like. Currently, my brain like flip-flops this every now and again, but currently, my stance is it's probably more of a restaurant.
I can't be friends with you.
Due to their rental policy. Let me talk about their rental policy, because this is an argument that I didn't even consider on the original night, that their rental policy is like, okay, so you would agree that renting a Chuck E. Cheese, would you agree that renting out a Chuck E. Cheese for your child's birthday is more akin to renting out a McDonald's for your child's birthday, which is a service that McDonald's offers, by the way, or renting out like something akin to like an arcade or a trampoline park out for your child's birthday?
It's more akin to renting out an arcade park. Or like a trampoline park.
I don't think so. I think those are like too professional a facility to be counted in the same caliber as a Chuck E. Cheese.
Here's the difference, Vox. And I'm coming back. And like you pulled this back up, and you're not ready for this shit because I was shooting with a 22 before, and now I've got like a fucking like a anti-aircraft missile.
So fucking you open fire, bitch. What do you have?
All right. Let's see Chuck E. Cheese policy for getting inside of Chuck E. Cheese. You pay to get inside of Chuck E. Cheese, correct?
You
just have to pay to be inside of it. I think you pay admission.
I don't think you pay admission. Do you pay admission at Chuck E. Cheese? This is like a Googleable question we're arguing about. Admission is always free. You have to pay to like rent it out if you want exclusivity on that, but admission is in fact free. You just have to be accompanied by a child or be a child. One of those two things has to be
accompanied by a child or be a child. Tell me one restaurant that you have to be accompanied by a child. They're making a safe location for children to play, not to eat.
Well, there's still food and there's still a kitchen, and that still is like the driving. Oh my
god, we're back to this. It's like 30% kitchen.
Not because it's 30% kitchen. The fact that there's a kitchen at all does not inherently make it exclusively a restaurant more than it is an entertainment center. But I think that the caliber of rental establishment that it is definitely more akin to like a McDonald's fast food chain than it is to a proper like arcade or entertainment area. Like I don't know. I'd consider like Dave and Buster's a close analog, but I feel like if it's a spectrum, and it is, if it's a spectrum, then Dave and Buster's lies a little further over. Like just like Chuck E. Cheese is on the restaurant side, like is in the middle, slightly closer to the restaurant side, and Dave and Buster's is like slightly closer to the like arcade and or entertainment center side.
What are you on about?
What do you mean? What am I on about? Dave & Buster's
is like the arcade of all time.
Yeah, but they serve food though. You're like that's part of the appeal.
My fucking god!
That's part of the appeal is that you could like it's more than a Chuck E. Cheese. Is that you could,
a restaurant?
You could sit down and eat in the house with that and that is usually the inn for adults.
Airport
is like
a restaurant.
People like more than Chuck E. Cheese, I could argue, because Dave & Buster's is partially like partially pointed at adults. I'm not done with my point. I'm not dodging the question. No, an airport's not inherently a restaurant. But because it's
Why
like
is it
sectored
not
off.
inherently a
It's
restaurant?
like sectored off,
And so
like,
is Dave and Buster's and fucking and
but those are still the
Chuck E.
same
Cheese.
establishment. Like the Auntie
The
Anne's isn't
airport.
run, like the fucking like pretzel shop on the corner of the fucking airport food court is not run by the same guy flying the plane. Like those aren't managed by the same group.
There is like Delta based, like vending
Delta
machines
based.
and things like that. Delta's
Yeah,
based,
but even then,
dude.
Delta doesn't own the airport. Delta doesn't manage the airport as like a physical establishment. The airports are like individual organizations,
airports
independent.
Then that's easier because you said that the people weren't flying the plane and don't have a stake in that. The airport definitely does have food. Like there is airport based food. Like straight up, especially in places like the Atlanta airport.
It's the same thing as like the mall to me, where it's like there's a food court in that like an airport is a place that offers services. The prime service you're going there for is flights. However, there are also like little gift shops that are owned by certain corporations, and some of those corporations happen to be food companies who serve food. Okay? Like it is like a neutral gray zone
Chuck
that
Entertainment
can't really
Cheese.
be counted. Chuck Entertainment Cheese, that's a Chuck E. Cheese pizza. You're eating a Chuck E. Cheese pizza at a Chuck E. Cheese table, watching a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic band, and maybe hearing Chuck E. Cheese arcade cabinets behind you. Like it's all owned and operated by the same group, whereas like the mall is like, yeah, there's like a Hot Topic, and then there's like a churro stand.
Pretty much
just a bad
everywhere.
comparison, I think.
Fine. Is the fucking Walmart a restaurant? They serve hot food. There's places to eat and sit.
Walmart is a grocery store, partially. And grocery stores are allowed to serve fresh food. They're allowed to serve actual edible right there in the store.
So can fucking arcades. Every single arcade serves food.
There is nothing about an arcade.
A single arcade that doesn't serve food.
I've been to plenty of arcades that don't serve food. Strip mall arcades. I've been to like big in-house arcades.
Those are just a fraction of something else.
If you go to a modern arcade that is not like a corporately owned chain that doesn't need to serve food to continue, like if Chuck E. Cheese stopped serving food, they would not have a place eventually.
That's a lie.
That is not a lie. That is not a lie. I know many people who wouldn't have ever set foot in a Chuck E. Cheese if it weren't convincible of like, oh, there's food or food is allowed to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's an arcade, because the kids who are the actual prime audience, they're going to it because they want to take their kids there, but they're like, I don't want to go because there's nothing for me. Oh, food is for me. Either way, I'm saying that the prime thing is that nobody's going into a Chuck E. Cheese and buying a pizza. Not a single person in the world is going to, I want yummy Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
See, Jed, you've fallen into my trap, is what you've done. You've fallen into my trap now, because you might have your anti-aircraft missiles, but oh boy, can I scramble the fucking jets. Because there's something that wasn't true last time. There's something that was not true last time that they've started doing since, because we had this argument in the midst of COVID when like companies were still actively responding to COVID. So, guess what?
No, I know they've opened a restaurant side of things.
Guess what company continued to serve pizza in a drive-through and or in-store quick pickup format? Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, they deemed this a very lucrative proposition for them throughout COVID. Plenty of people came specifically to come and get pizza.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have the stats to back that up in 2020, but now we do. And they still do. They have a kitchen on things like DoorDash. They have like a kitchen. You can DoorDash Chuck E. Cheese to your house. Wouldn't recommend it, but you could. And people do. Regularly enough for the corporation to continue offering this service.
See, because now I'm more angry that you even considered lumping Dave & Buster's into any sort of
Dave & Buster's is
restaurant.
like an equivalent restaurant. Like it's an equivalent establishment to Chuck E. Cheese, I would say.
No,
it's
not.
It's like semi-adult Chuck E. Cheese. It's like a step up from Chuck E. Cheese. It is. I guarantee it.
You have got to be fucking sucking my cock and calling me Sally, dude. That's bullshit.
I guarantee you offer people a like a Spectrum format, and you ask them to like pin a photo of like a Chuck E. Cheese restaurant and a photo of a Dave and Buster's up, and like the options are restaurant or entertainment center with a big spectrum in the middle. They're gonna fall in about the same spot.
I'm gonna look up arcade
because Dave and Buster's
Google.
is better. Dave and Buster's is better. Like Dave and Buster's again lies more on the arcade side of things, but again because Dave and Buster's is slightly more mature. I'm not saying it's like the adult equivalent, but like it's slightly more mature and has adult appeal naturally in its arcade side of things. It also has more options for food. Like, it has more food options as well than Chuck E. Cheese does, and gets more people in the door to have. Like, people aren't hosting events at Dave & Buster's when they rent it out. They're hosting, like, a dinner that happens to also be at Dave & Buster's where they can go and do things. Yeah. I've heard of people hosting dinners at Dave & Buster's where, like, you know, people are going to do it. Like, it's not like we're sitting down the whole goddamn time and we're going to eat nonstop and then we're going to leave immediately. Like, people are still, like, going off and doing shit. But like the Dave & Buster's, the conceit of the visit is that you're going for a meal.
The Dave & Buster's that I've been to, the restaurant and dining area is genuinely like 30 feet by 30 feet inside of this like 2-acre large warehouse. How could you possibly argue that
that's not every Dave & Buster's? You're gonna tell me that like this is the Dave & Buster's in fucking like Vegas or something? That you were like,
no,
oh, I was in Monaco recently,
Southeast
fucking
Tucson.
Like, yeah, Southeast Tucson, where they can get like fucking 4 billion acres of land for $2 because who the fuck wants it?
Dave & Buster's, the arcade place. Okay, watch this.
Watch what? Watch what? On our audio show, watch what?
Okay, you ready? I looked up Dave & Buster's. Do you want to know how they? Do you want to know how they fucking? You want to know how they market themselves?
Sure, hurry it up. Go.
Arcade, sports bar, and restaurant. Arcade, work hard, play hard, happy hour harder.
Okay, arcade, sports bar, restaurant. Those are all like that reads like a Twitter bio. Your Twitter bio says something similar. What does your Twitter bio say? Hold on.
It says streamer, musician, dumbass.
Would you consider yourself more of a streamer? More of a musician or more of a dumbass? Did you order that by like a spectrum of how much of those things you are?
Yeah, that's how you order things.
That's not how everybody orders it. Most people put the big one last. Like Obama's like 3-tier list ends with president, and I'd say that's the most notable fact about him.
Because that was the most recent thing that he did.
That's not the most recent thing that he did. His fucking Twitter bio still says that. It's like family man.
What is his Twitter bio?
Family man president. It used to be that. I don't know if it's that anymore. But like, again, that's just like the only example of someone using that format that I could think of. Where's Obama's Twitter? Obama. Not Michelle Obama. President Obama. Here we go. POTUS44. Sure. This is an archive of the Obama administration account maintained by the National... Okay, well... That's not his personal Twitter. Jesus. Whatever. I just don't want to talk about it, man. I just don't want to talk about it. Because restaurant is third. And I'm not conceding. I just, like, the restaurant is third. The restaurant is not third place because it's third on the list. Most people end with the big one.
Oh my god. You're not telling me that Dave & Buster's big thing is restaurant.
It's not the biggest thing about them, no. Like I said, they fall more on the arcade spectrum of things.
You cannot get into a Dave & Buster's without buying a points card. You can't do it.
You can't do it? You think it's impossible?
No, you can't. You think it's impossible? Literally can.
You're saying that like you've tried.
I have.
You say that like you've been scrambling.
No, but I'm having this brain blast. Oh my god. 2019. I was 14, going to Dave & Buster's for my birthday. Gets inside. Shit, you guys can't go in. Get your points card first. All right,
and that's the difference maker. That's the difference maker, dude, is that there is no admission. There is no cost of admission at the Charles Entertainment Cheese establishment. That's why it falls more on the restaurant side of things, on that spectrum. Don't fucking fart at me.
I'm having a fucking aneurysm, dude.
You know what? Fuck you. Point Little Bug. Podcast over. Watch us on Spotify. The Little Bug is at 2 now. What are you at? Hold on.
2.
Go watch us on like Spotify. You were tied with Little Bug. You are tied with the Little Bug. Go check on our show every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on both YouTube and on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts, as long as it's one of those two. It premieres on YouTube, so you can watch it live as it releases starting 3 p.m. and it'll run till like 5 p.m., I think, if that math checks out. I didn't really think about it until I said it. But, you know, you can watch it there live.
Wait, I'm supposed to be doing the outro.
Chat. You can participate in the live chat, whatever you want. Take it away, Jed. Talk about how we're the hosts of the show and where they can find us.
Yeah, I'm Jed. This is Vox. We can both find each other in the bio. I've got the superior.
We can both find each other, but where can they find us?
They can find us in the.
You can find love in the description of this YouTube video.
Destroyed my brain by saying that Dave & Buster's is a restaurant, just as much as it is a fucking
more
arcade.
On the arcade side of things. I said there was like an analog. We'll talk more about this after. I think my point was made clear.
I've got the superior platform that is Linktree because I don't have a bloated fucking amount of social medias. But you can also find Vox's
card page. I have a card page.
Yeah, and it's bloated.
YouTube channels don't mean nothing.
It's bloated.
I'm getting out of here.
Goodbye,
pop. Everybody. See ya for episode 21. We'll hopefully have Crim Rose on for once.
Hopefully.
We've been trying for weeks. See you guys around.
Bye.
Bye.